I want him punished for what he did to me, because I honestly feel he's taken 20 years of my life away.
Before we begin, Alice's hands tremble. This is so hard for her, but she's clear about why she's sharing her story.
I didn't want to be known as a rape victim. I always saw it as shame, the shameful thing that this man did to me. But it's not my shame, it's his shame for what he done to other women. So I thought to myself, no, I do want him punished for what he did. He needs to be held accountable.
We go back to 2003. Alice is in a bar with friends in South London. Lots of them know David Carrick, who's there too. Alice doesn't know him.
He was trying to ask me a lot of questions in the bar. I remember saying to him, "You're really nosy," considering I hadn't met him. He says it's part of my job because I'm a police officer. And I laughed and I thought, "You're joking," and he showed me his warrant cards.
He's invited everyone back to his flat for a house party and suggests that Alice go ahead with him to help tidy up.
When we was outside, Dave said to me, he's like, "Look, nothing's going to happen to you. I'm the safest person you can be with. I'm a police officer." I was like, okay. And I was thinking to myself, I was cautious, but then I thought to myself, what am I worried about?
They arrive and the flat is spotless. Next, you'll hear Alice recounting the attack. This is an abridged version of what she shared with us.
We were chatting for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. He gets up and he goes to kiss me. I push him off and I said, "No, I don't want anything." So I go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom and I think to myself, I need to get out of this situation. And he said, "Oh, well, I've called off the party. I'm a bit tired now." And I was like, "Oh, okay then," and took that as my cue to leave. And he comes out to the hallway. I hear him behind me, and he puts his right arm around my waist. And I go to turn around to push him off, and he puts his left hand over my mouth, and that's when the attack begins. All of a sudden there's this gun, and I just froze, and he looked at me and he said, "Look, you behave yourself and I'll let you go." And he just brushed it gently against my cheek, and I just thought, that's it, he's going to kill me. And I said to him, "Why do you have a gun?" And he said, "I like guns." He said, "How else am I going to shut you up?" And he knew that, to me, he knew he was inflicting an awful lot of pain. I remember at one point he bit into like my collarbone. I remember asking him to stop, and he didn't say anything. Well, he'd laugh.
In Alice's case, Carrick pleaded guilty to 4 counts of rape, 1 count of indecent assault, and 1 count of false imprisonment. He denied having a firearm with intent to cause fear or violence.
It was becoming light outside, and he said, "I've got to go to work later on, so you best be going off now." And he threw my clothes at me.
Alice heads for the hospital. There she's treated and told by a nurse that reporting the incident will likely come to nothing. That it'll be too harrowing to face a justice system that often fails women.
When she said, "You know, you're not the first woman to get attacked by a police officer," I thought, oh my God. I could then see how, like, being attacked by a police officer and then having police come in and take a statement, I think that would have really spooked me as well.
Finally, in the safety of a family member's home, Alice looked in the mirror.
And I couldn't believe what he'd done to me. Obviously, I felt in a lot of pain. I knew I had bruising, but my back was covered and I had bite marks and handprints on me. And I remember sitting in the bath crying, thinking, what have I done to deserve this?
For a while, Carrick showed up where Alice worked. She lived in fear of him and the police. Then one day, nearly 2 decades later, she saw his face come up on the news.
We can now see in David Carrick's timeline a series of missed opportunities. What do you make of that?
I can't believe that he's had these allegations on his file that have never been joined up. I think it's shocking that the police never thought to themselves, oh, hold on a minute, there's a pattern here. When I reported it to the police, I did say to them, there's no way I'm the first. There's absolutely no way. It's too planned, it's too calculated. He's done this before. It must be devastating for them as well, because obviously there's all these police officers coming out with these other crimes, mainly against women, and to know that they weren't part of that unit, that force, must be soul-destroying.
After the sentencing, where do you go from there? What does the future look like for you, do you think?
I can't get back to who I was before. That one night changed the whole course of my life. I left a job that I was actually quite good at. I was saving up for my diploma at the time. I had a college place. I couldn't see a way forward. I didn't want to stand out from anyone else. I just wanted to disappear from the rest of the world. So I changed. I became a harder version of myself. And the fact that he was a serving police officer in the time frame that he was doing these attacks and using that to gain the trust of these women just makes me so angry that he continued. And regardless of my life, and I'm just one person, he's changed all these other women's lives by what he done.
Alice speaking to Ria Chatterjee there. And if you've been affected by any of the issues in that report, you can seek help by going to channel4.com/support.